Hi there, Mrs. Wagner here. All right, we are doing density columns. And so as you can see here, we have your document that you either have online or you might have a paper copy of it. Okay, I'm going to do part one in a video. So I will be figuring out the mass of the liquids that we're going to put in our density column, okay? So just to give you kind of some background of what we're doing here, I have a graduated cylinder. I have, as you can see up on the materials list, 7 different substances. This is substance number 1. This is, I think, vegetable oil. Yeah. So I'm going to do the mass of the vegetable oil. I will mass the alcohol, the glycerin, the detergent, the water, the corn syrup, and a small object. Okay, once I have figured out all the masses and you have entered in the data table what those masses are, you're going to calculate for density. So you have to think about what the formula for density is. So I'm not going to remind you, I'm only going to give you a little bit of a clue as to what the formula for density is. So there's your clue. Okay, all right. First things first, so bear with me here. I got a lot of materials, graduated cylinders, beakers, things, and so, you know, we'll see how it goes. All right, so the first thing I'll mass is the vegetable oil. I'm going to be pouring out 10 milliliters. So I already know the volume. If I pour out 10 milliliters, I know the volume already. Okay, so my massing scale, you've all seen these before. I'm going to take this little beaker. I'm going to place it onto the massing scale, and I'm going to hit tare because I want to get it back to 0. I don't want the mass of the beaker, so I've got to minus out that beaker. So that's what the tare button does. Okay, tare, tar, I'm not really sure how that's pronounced. Anyway, okay, so I'm going to carefully pour 10. I'm going to grab some paper towel. Hold on. Okay, so I could use a funnel, but sometimes I find that funnels are a little bit cumbersome and don't really help. So I'm just going to try to do this without spilling. So, okay, so I have measured out, I did a pretty good job, 10 milliliters of vegetable oil without making a mess. So that's good, okay? All right, I'm going to share with you here, you know how this goes, it's not always the best reading, but I'll let you know what it is. It is 7.3. So the mass of the vegetable oil at 10 milliliters is 7.3. So we're going to type that into our data table. Okay? Okay, so next one, so I'm just going to set this aside. I actually have 10 little beakers, or 7 little beakers here for all the substances. Okay, so the next one, I'm going to make sure it's at 0. I'm going to place the beaker onto the massing scale. Again, I'm going to 0 it out. Grab the next substance, which is the alcohol. Okay. And pour this into, got a little bit more than 10, so I want to make sure. Yep, we're at 10. I've already tared it, so it's a minus right now. And when I place it back on, it will go back to where it needs to go. Okay, this is 7 point, well, I got way too much still. I didn't read that right. Okay, try it again. A little too much again. Okay. All right, we're at 10 now. Okay. So the mass of the alcohol is 5.3. 5.3. Okay. Okay, so 5.3 for the alcohol. Okay. Next one is glycerin. So glycerin, I colored blue. Okay. So I'm placing a little bit of liquid on the massing scale, so I'm going to get that off real quick. Okay, So I'm placing the beaker down onto the scale again, and I'm going to press 0. Okay. Glycerin, it's just like a thick, kind of oily substance. This is going to be hard, so I'm going to have to do this nice and slow. The nice thing about the slower moving ones, the ones with a thicker viscosity, is they pour slowly, so it's easier to get the 10 milliliters. All right, we're good. Okay, 10.7 for glycerin. Detergent dish soap. Detergent dish soap. Get to 0. Place my beaker. Get to 0 again. Grab my paper towel. So here is the detergent dish soap. Smells kind of nice. Okay. All right. Again, this one's kind of nice because it pours so slowly. 12.2 is the mass of that. Water. Grab my beaker. Tare it. These beakers are not all the same mass, which is interesting to me. Okay, and the water. This one's going to be a little bit more difficult. Oh, I made a mess. Okay, so I think it's 10. What I'm going to do, I've got to take it off, and I have to clean up all the water that spilled. Okay. And I'm good on the scale because I know what it was before I tared it, and it's minus that now. So once I put this on, it's going to include the beaker, which will bring it back up to 0, and then the liquid itself is 6.2. Okay. Try that again. 0. Okay. Not quite. A little too much. Okay. There we go. Okay. It is 9.7. So not 6.2, but 9.7. So I redid that one for a reason, so I'll explain later. Okay. Then the corn syrup is this one right here. It is this red. It's very thick. So I dealt with corn syrup a lot this week. I was making sugar cookies, and you add corn syrup into the frosting, and that's what makes it kind of settle nicely and then harden nicely. So anyway, all right. So this is our little beaker. We're going to tare it and add it in. I'm going to take it off like I did before. Okay, I know that number is going to be right when I put it back on. It's nice and slow, so getting it to 10 is kind of easy. All right, I want to get some of it off of the side. So wiping it down, letting it settle. It's a little too much. Pulling it back. Okay, so as you can see, there's obviously chances for human error here, right? In measuring, but we do the best we can. Okay, good. I did good on that. All right, that one is 14.9. All right, now our small object, I'm choosing to use a bead. So I'm going to mask a nice bright bead. We'll try, let's do yellow. Well, no, let's do, how about pink? Okay, pink. So get it back down to 0. Oh. The object is 0.5 grams. So make sure you get that 0.5 in there. Okay, so now what you need to do is calculate the density. So remembering the formula and calculate the density and type in your densities into the data chart. Then for part 2, once you figure out the densities, I want you to list in order from most dense to least dense. So the most dense, the one with the highest density is going to go first, and then you're going to go in order to least dense. Then your teacher will have these substances for you, and your group is going to take the list that you made from most to least, and you're going to add into the graduated cylinder first the most dense, then the second most dense, then the third, all the way to the least dense. And you're going to see, we'll be able to tell if we calculated our densities accurately. Okay, so our substance, you're going to type in the substance, its calculated density, the actual, then you're going to pour them in, and then what was the actual way that it settles in the column. Okay, so the actual placement in the column. Was the most dense one at the bottom? Were you right in your calculations? Remembering that, you know, sometimes there's some human error in the way that densities are calculated. I did the best I could with math and also measuring the volume. So we do our best, okay? So we'll see how it goes and see if we were right with how the column came out to be, okay? All right, and then my class has a cleanup procedure here. All right, be interested to find out how it goes.